This is At Home with ADTS, a show that presents topics of interest to older adults, individuals with disabilities, and their caregivers. At Home highlights the services and programs offered by Aging, Disability, and Transit Services of Rockingham County.
Welcome to this edition of At Home with ADTS, a program about supports and services offered by Aging, Disability, and Transit Services of Rockingham County. I'm Asheley Cooper, Director of Community Outreach and Development here at ADTS. ADTS has been in operation in Rockingham County since 1973. The goal is to assist and link senior adults, people with disabilities, and their families with information, opportunities, and services that promote and enhance quality of life, as well as working to meet the local transportation needs of Rockingham County residents. We would like to give a special thank you to the United Way of Rockingham County for their long time and generous support of our Meals on Wheels program. United Way of Rockingham County brings together local people to help raise local dollars to meet local needs, and we thank everyone who's given a contribution. Today's episode, we're going to discuss respite care and adult day services. Our guest is Rachel Pennington, who is the Life Enrichment and Friendship Director with ADTS. So, hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, just introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about yourself and your role at ADTS.
Hi, so again, Ashley said, my name is Rachel, and my background, I went to UNCG for grad school and studied gerontology. So my focus even in school, has been on family caregivers and people living with dementia and supporting them. So my role at the L.E.A.F Center is I'm the director there of the program, and I supervise the staff and help enroll new clients and families. I also run the caregiver support groups that we offer. So
wonderful. We're so glad that you've joined our team. And I wanted to just talk to you briefly about respite services before we move on to what exactly L.E.A.F Center provides for our community residents. So how would you define respite care?
So to me, respite care is temporary relief from caregiving duties. It gives a caregiver a break is another way of thinking about it. So respite can look a lot of different ways. It can be in-home respite. It can be using an adult day center during the daytime, or it could be at a facility-based respite, so like in an inpatient setting. But it's temporary relief from caregiving duties.
Yes, absolutely. And I also say it's relief for the loved one being cared for as well, right? Sometimes both people need a break as equally. So why do you think it's important for caregivers to utilize respite services?
I think, you hear on the airplane, when the oxygen masks drop down, that you're supposed to put your own mask on first and then help someone else. So that idea of taking care of yourself and giving yourself a break as respite is so important for caregivers, because we usually are putting others first all the time, or always taking care of another person, and we forget to take that time to take care of ourselves, meaning, go for a walk, or to cook a good meal, or whatever it is that someone might need to do for their mental health, for their physical health, whether that be, going and talking to someone, if you need to see a therapist, or go to church. I mean, there are some caregivers who I know they use respite so they can have, that to go to church on the weekend. So I think caregivers also need to remember that they can't do it all alone, all by themselves, and it's okay to ask for help and to seek out help.
Absolutely. I always say caregiving is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes.
Right. And so we've talked about in previous episodes the kind of the secret sauce for caregiving. And one of those ingredients is taking time for yourself. And that's definitely something that Respite provides. I would like to transition a little bit and talk about the L.E.A.F Center and how it not only provides respite for the caregiver, but also for what you guys call the participant as well. So what does a typical day look like for someone attending the L.E.A.F Center?
So the L.E.A.F Center, typically when people are arriving in the morning, they are getting a cup of coffee or a snack, and then are chit-chatting, hanging out as other folks are coming in the door. And then about 10 o'clock, we start in with exercise. And then throughout the morning, we're doing music, exercise. Usually, especially now, before it gets too hot, we'll go outside and do some garden activities or walk outdoors in the mornings. And then we have activities, games, arts and crafts projects, and different things that are taking place throughout the day. Lunch is served usually around 11:45 to 12 o'clock. And after lunch, there's time for individuals to rest and kind of relax if they want to put their feet up in a recliner chair. We have a room that's dedicated to be more of a quiet and a rest space. And then we also have, the main areas that they can hang out and socialize or watch a TV show in that downtime after lunch. And then about 1 o'clock, we start in again with activities for the rest of the afternoon. And we serve an afternoon snack at 2 o'clock. So that give you an idea of some of the things that happen throughout the day. But as far as, for the caregivers, we encourage them to come and tour the center and so that they can see what it's like. And we also encourage people to come for a trial day, for a free trial day, so that they can experience it and decide if this is something they're interested in participating.
Yeah, and that's really important because it's not it doesn't fit everybody, but I definitely think it fits most people. I heard what you were talking about when you're talking about the structure of the day, that there was a lot of social engagement. I know one gerontologist to another that social engagement is extremely important. What are some of the benefits that you see of the participants have through that social engagement?
So if we've learned anything from this past year and a half, social isolation is really bad for us as human beings. We need to stay connected with one another. And if we don't, it's not good for our physical or mental health. So as far as what opportunities we have for that at the center, we try to, especially for new folks as they're enrolling, we try to buddy them up with someone who they may have things in common with, or even find, ways for them to get to know each other. The other day, they were just playing a game, telling about different things in their life or getting to know you facts so that we can learn about each other and develop those friendships and relationships. I will say there's a couple folks as they started, maybe were hesitant or quiet or didn't really know what to think about the program. But then after a week or two, when they had a chance to adjust and meet people and feel comfortable, it was like they'd always been there. And so being able to talk to others who, are in similar situation, but also everyone there is so different, that they can find things in common. They can care for one another. I definitely see some of our clients who are cognitively still high functioning, looking out for those that maybe need some reminders or some help in other ways. So it is very sweet to watch those friendships develop, and they love to pick with each other and joke, and it's a fun thing to see them connect with one another.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I completely agree. People need connection. We're all constantly seeking it out. Even if we say we might not want it, it still is something that fills our bucket. right? It's the same thing that whenever caregivers take this respite break, we encourage them not just to go sit at home, but to get out and be with friends and socialize and, go have lunch or something like that. So speaking of lunch, you mentioned that they get meals and snacks. So are y'all preparing meals, or how are the meals served?
So the snacks that we do in the morning and the afternoon, those are prepared on site. Usually for breakfast, we have some sort of a grain like toast or oatmeal, and a fruit, and then milk or yogurt. And then in the afternoon, we have 2 items, usually some crackers and fruit or cheese, juice, sandwiches. We'll do things like that. But then at lunchtime, we actually have our lunches are catered through the Pennington Hospital kitchen. And we are serving those plates at lunch. And all of the meals and snacks and the menus are approved through the Child and Adult Care Food Program, which is a national and federally qualified USDA program. So it meets those nutrition standards for adults.
Sure, absolutely. And so do you get pretty good feedback from the participants? Do they enjoy the meals?
Well,
right?
We definitely get feedback when it's not good. There are days, if something's not right, and we work hard to correct that. But typically, individuals enjoy, and if we have any leftovers or extra plates, they'll request to take them home as extra plates. So, and those items that are not as popular, we try to work with the kitchen staff on changing out our menu every now and then. So
that's wonderful. That's good to hear. We also know that the center, you guys serve a variety of people, right? So talk to me a little bit about who usually attends, the type of participants who attend.
So we have kind of two groups based on age categories. 60 and older, those individuals who need some sort of like supervision or safety or assistance with personal care needs during the day, or some sort of monitoring of a healthcare condition. And then our, 18 and older, it's the younger population, same story, who have some sort of a need for medical monitoring or medications, and who need safety and supervision and activities during the day. So it's a variety of ages and abilities. So some of our clients physically are very strong, but cognitively have some areas of weakness. And then others, physically are needing assistance with transfers or with walking. So we're there to provide, and the staff are trained in safety. I would say most all of them have their current CNA certification, and they've all had extensive experience working with adults with special needs or older adults meeting their needs.
Well, that's really good to know, because I know sometimes as people get older, or just depending on their diagnosis, they might need help in the restroom and those sort of things. So you're saying the staff does have qualifications and are certified CNAs?
Yes.
Or I guess that's a double, are CNAs, which means certified nursing assistants. Okay. And so I'm assuming that also that means that some of the folks need medication assistance during the day. Can you talk to what kind of expertise you have on staff for that?
Yes, so we have a healthcare coordinator who is a nurse who does our medications. We have a couple clients who need their blood sugars checked and may need insulin given with meals and snacks. So we have orders from the doctor to do meds at the center during the day. Typically, if individuals are taking medicine in the morning, we encourage families to do that at home before they come. But if it's a lunchtime med or something that has to be given at a certain time in the middle of the day, then the nurse is there to give those meds.
That's wonderful. Now, do they do any other, do they do any type of health education or anything like that with the participants as well?
Yeah, so every month we have what's called Nurse Talk. So the nurse will pick a topic, or if their participants have expressed interest in a certain health topic, she'll do a little activity and presentation with them and on a health topic.
Wonderful. So they're able, if they're not feeling well, they have access to her, right?
Yes.
Like sometimes when you go to the doctor, there's somebody in between you before you can actually talk to them. But if participants aren't feeling well or have a question about medication or anything like that, they have access.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we also, the healthcare coordinator does a great job of communicating changes, updates, things that may be happening, things that we're seeing with those family members and with physicians as needed. So say someone, their doctor wants a record or a list of their blood pressures lately. So we can share that information through the families or fax it to the doctor's office before an appointment so they can make changes as needed.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. Typically, how many, I don't mean to be jumping around, but typically how many times a week does someone attend the center?
It varies really based on the need of the family and of the individual. So we have some clients that come 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and then others who maybe only come 1 day a week. But it just depends on their interest and their need. We have quite a few caregivers that are working caregivers. So Monday through Friday is really what they need so that they can work. But then there are other caregivers who, they just need a day or two here and there, and their loved ones will attend the center. So
once they,
I'll go ahead and answer this. The hours of operation were open Monday through Friday from around 8 a.m. till about 4:30 p.m. There's a little wiggle room on the end there. If there are families who are still working until 5 o'clock, we'll work with them as far as closing hours. But we do, as far as activities and people that are regularly there, 8 to 4:30.
Okay.
And then closed most major holidays and a week at Christmas. We usually are closed at Christmas.
So you keep bankers' holidays, right? I understand. So besides providing meals, social activities, healthcare, supports, and are there other personal care supports that you offer at the center?
Yep. So we actually do offer assistance with bathing, and bathing service is an additional part of adult day health that is offered with help with shaving for gentlemen that need help with maintaining that hygiene. And then we have a beautician that comes once a month to do haircuts, and she can also wash and style. So people would make appointments for when she comes. And then the podiatrist comes a couple times a year. They actually haven't been since COVID and all of the shutdowns, but now that we're starting to have more clients enrolled, I'm gonna reach back out again so that we can get the podiatrist out there, because I think it's time probably.
I'm sure it is. So it sounds like you guys provide help with a lot of things that caregivers struggle with, right? Mm-hmm. Quite often when I talk to caregivers who are struggling with placing their loved one, like, is it that time? Is it that moment? Is that they're having problems with their personal care, or making sure they're staying clean, getting them to doctor's appointments, and and then also making sure that they look nice and stuff like that. So it really is kind of like it's a all-inclusive type of facility, which is fantastic here in Rockingham County, if you ask me. But so we talked a lot about how you support the participant or the client who's attending. What kind of supports do you provide besides respite care for the caregivers?
So we do quite a few programs throughout the year, and we also do a monthly caregiver support group. The second Monday of every month at 1:30, we do the dementia family caregiver support group. And then on the third Monday of each month, we're still doing the brain injury survivors and caregivers support group. So we're starting to gain a little bit of momentum again in that group. So but they both meet at 1:30 p.m. on Mondays, the second Monday and the third Monday of each month for caregivers. And then there's this upcoming year, we're excited to be able to offer some online education through it's an online portal called TrueAlta, and the state has actually, I guess, paid for or has this partnership with TrueAlta to do education videos and blogs and articles for caregivers on different topics that they might find need to learn about. So, and
I was going to say, you mentioned technology and the portal. Is there, if anything's taught us, is that sometime this past year, not only do we need people, but we also need access to technology, right? So, can you, if someone doesn't have access to a computer or anything like that, and they want to do a little bit more with TrueAlta, is there an opportunity for them to do that?
Yep. So this year, and especially pushing through our dementia family caregiver support group, we're going to be offering the tablet that you can check out or that you can use at the L.E.A.F Center to complete and to look at that TrueAlta platform for education. So that'll be something we're excited to be able to offer caregivers that maybe need a little help or tech support. I can be there as a reference for them. And help set up and get them on that portal.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a great tool. I've heard wonderful things about that portal. So I'm glad that caregivers will have access to it. So the last little piece that we need to talk about is transportation. So how do people usually get to the center?
So a variety of ways. We have some families that just transport themselves, their loved ones themselves, and pick them up in the evenings. But also the RCATS transportation is available for individuals that need that service. It costs $8 for a one-way trip, $16 for a round trip. So some families may, use RCATS for just the morning time to drop off, and they may pick them up in the evening, whatever works for them and their needs. But we utilize RCATS a lot for transportation.
Sure, absolutely. So speaking of cost, obviously this center is a great place to attend. Can you talk to us a little bit about what the fees are involved with attending?
Yeah, so our private pay rate for adult day care is $50 a day, and for day health is $55 a day. Day health being those individuals that need medication administration or specialized time with the nurse that they're needing to do treatments or whatever kind of health services. But I will say there are a lot of grant funds that we also utilize to help cover the cost of attendance for most of our clients who are eligible. So there's funding available especially for caregivers who need respite coming up. So the best thing that you can do is to call and set up a time to meet with me and to schedule a tour at the center, and we can talk through all of that and see if they're eligible for those grants.
Okay, and so how do if they would like to reach out to you, how would they do that?
So they can call at 336, I think I see it on the screen, 336-347-2328 is the L.E.A.F Center main number. And my email is rpennington@adtsrc.org. Or they can probably go on the website, adtsrc.org, and find the L.E.A.F Center to find more information or how to contact. Or they can stop by for a visit. I've had people that just ring the doorbell and want to come and meet with me kind of out of the blue. So we're located at the same address as the Reedsville Senior Center. We're on Washington Avenue, not far from downtown.
Right, absolutely. And so as we transition to the end, I just want to ask you, what is your key piece of advice for caregivers?
So I would say for any caregivers to find support, and that looks different for each individual caregiver. So some caregivers may just need a buddy to talk to on the phone, to vent, and who they can understand what someone is going through as a caregiver. There are support groups out there. I know personally, I've had a family member as a caregiver, didn't feel comfortable going to a big support group with strangers, but had a friend that they knew that was also a caregiver, and they got together several times a week and would talk. So there are a lot of different options for what kind of support you can find, but don't think that you have to do it alone, because there's many resources, many avenues out there for support, and what that looks like for each individual, it may be different. So
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. I always say successful caregivers seek out help and support. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. That's all the time that we have for today. We thank you for watching, and we hope that you find the information beneficial and valuable. For more information on the programs and services offered at ADTS, you can visit our website at adtsrc.org, or you can always give us a call at 336-349-2343. Thank you again for joining us today, and remember that ADTS is here to help you and your family age with dignity and independence in your home as well as in your community. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to At Home with ADTS. For over 45 years, Aging, Disability, and Transit Services of Rockingham County has focused on enhancing quality of life for individuals by empowering them to achieve optimum health and well-being, independence, and participation in community. To learn more about community-based services, resources, or how to help, visit adtsrc.org or call 336-349-2343.